Hello again. Welcome to weekly call-in. Thanks for your questions. And before we get started, just going to have a little note about the subject of this week, whereas we're talking about your fears and the thing that you think stands between you and where you want to be. So we've got some great things to go over in just one second. I'll go over and answer all the questions. Just a note, first of all, about fear and frugality and the retreat that fear can cause. You know, it's an ancient thing of human beings, is that we're conditioned to learn what hurts us and then avoid it again. So this, in modern day though, that kind of gets in our way a little bit, because if we have a bad experience in the past, in our minds we kind of see that as a bad thing, and then we retreat. And it happens to us, you have enough knocks in life and we keep retreat, and before you know it, you're just in this huddled up fetal position, because everything is scary. And worst of all, what we're doing, and if we're not careful, is we end up actually focusing on fear, and the thing that we focus on is the thing that becomes our reality, because that's what we're focusing on. So try not to, it's good to have concerns and considerations, and that's what these questions are today, but also don't get focused on fear. You know, you have to get pushed past that and that instinct of not retreating and not, you know, renting in your horns and being frugal and saving up, because you'll end up losing that. You're losing what you're sort of retreating with. You have to get out there. So first question then. So I'm 61, I'm in retirement mode, and I've got some investments and so on. I'd like to know what I'm looking out for 4 years away from retirement. Well, the main thing is that, you know, you want your money to work as hard as possible for you and to be safe. And that's really what a lot of we do with our investment stuff. A lot of material that we talk about there. At the annual Wealth Summit that's coming up, I talk in detail about making sure that you don't have another 2008, which will chop your 401k, your nest egg, in half. So we see that's an example. We're not going to focus on that fear. What we're going to do is we're going to be aware of it and make sure it doesn't happen again. My proprietary system that I teach at the annual Wealth Summit has predicted every single one. It predicted 2008 7 months before it actually happened, and I teach that to you. It's like a big game of chutes and ladders, but we are having 3 times as many ladders, and without the chutes. And also there's I'm going to be coaching you day by day as part of that, and I will tell you when you know, such an event is imminent. I'm worried about how high my taxes will be once I start making money in capital gains tax. Again, so there's an example. Tax is a good problem to have. It means you're making money. So I would much rather have $10,000 and pay 30% tax on it than have no dollars. I mean, at least I've still got $7,000. I mean, you know, the answer to the tax question is, well, you just pay it. So don't get, you know, that's an example of we are now, you know, we could be, you know, having fears or putting things in our way when we just focus on the thing you want. And the thing you want is that $10,000, not the, I mean, yes, you're going to pay the tax on it, but I'm not focused on the tax, because that's a negative, and that's pushing me into retreat mode. I'm trying to build wealth in real estate. What happens if I buy a home and we run into another housing crash? Well, I think it's great that you're thinking that way, because, of course, that we can get too, you know, sucked into this whole thing, you know, like before, housing never goes down, it always goes up forever. No, there is a cycle to real estate, and it happens every 7 years. And I show you that. One of the things I do at the Annual Wealth Summit is show you that cycle, the real estate cycle. I've been bullish on real estate for a good while now, because I know we're in the up cycle. But that will be coming to a head soon, and I want to be able to tell you when that is, because it's a very important time, and the cycle has never been wrong. There is always a time when it always feels like you shouldn't be selling, when it actually is the right time to sell. And if you're a real estate investor, doesn't matter how good you are, you need to know when the cycle is working for you and when it's going against you. And as I said, the Annual Wealth Summit, I will explain that. But right now, people think we're in a bubble. Actually, we're not, and the bubble hasn't expanded fully yet. But if you've been watching my videos, you know I've been bullish. I've been telling you, even right through COVID, I've been saying, you know, no, real estate is on, and people didn't listen, and sure enough, there it is. It carried on right the way through it. I wanted to start a home business. What are some ways to prepare for any potential recessions to make sure it survives? Similar to real estate, there is a cycle, It's not as easy to predict as real estate, but there's definitely a recession, obviously a recession cycle that goes on. The stock market is a good predictor of that, and so far, real estate and stocks have been flying. While everyone else has gone into retreat mode because of COVID, stock market, real estate doesn't care. Stock market is real estate is telling you, go, 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 big green light. The great American comeback is we're on the eve of that. And you do not want to be missing out on that because you're stuck in fear mode. So yeah, but I mean, don't forget some recessions, some businesses are quite happy in recessions, or even do well because of recessions. And one of the things I will coach you through is, you know, keeping you on the right track with that and being aware of the business cycle. If you start a business during a recession, for example, that can be a good time because there's less competition, etc., things like that. How will I know to sell my stocks before a big market crash? Because I will tell you. And like I said, I'm going to explain that system at the Annual Wealth Summit, not just to know when to get out, but also when to get in, and get in with 3 times the upside, but none of the downside. That is my proprietary system that's been right for 37 years, and I'm going to show you that. But right now, we are, as I say in my weekly videos, we are in bull mode for the stock market until proven otherwise. They say 70% of people who win big in the lottery go bankrupt. Great questions this week, by the way. Thank you very much for these. If I make a large sum of money, how can I avoid that? You know, this is a great question, and it's a thing. You know, people who suddenly inherit money or win the lottery or come into it easily. It's almost like easy come, easy go. And the short answer is to educate yourself about money, and that's the business that we're in. Understanding, how much, to put some aside and how much you're going to spend, and just basically have a plan, and to be able to invest it for the maximum amount of safety, maximum amount of upside, but least amount of downside, which is, business, real estate, stock market and stuff like that. And, it's education is the answer to that question. So that's a great bunch of questions this week, guys. And if you have any questions about what I talk about coaching, for the first time ever, I'm going to be doing that for a few people. I'll explain more details on that coming up. And that's a huge advantage where I'm actually, you're on the other end of a phone every day, helping you through anything you like. So that's all for this week. And great questions, keep them coming, and I will speak to you next week.